Okay, we are ready to begin our mini unit on solving equations. So this should be video notes 12. We're going to just do all 10 of these problems. They're multi-step equations, and I'm going to work out every single one, but you should be starting to work ahead after we do a few together, just to make sure that you do understand how to do this on your own. Okay, the first thing I do is draw a line down the equal sign. That's going to keep whatever we do to one side the same as what we do to the other to keep it balanced, which is the whole point of solving an equation. All right, when you have an x on one side of your equation and the other, you're going to have to move one to the other side in order to combine your like terms. And in order to move a term, you're going to have to add it if it's being subtracted, or you're going to have to subtract it if it's positive or being added. So I am going to, you can do either one. You can subtract 8x from both sides, but then that would leave us with a negative over here. 7x minus 8x would be negative, and I kind of avoid negatives if at all possible. So I'm going to move the 7x by subtracting it. What you do to one side, you do to the other. I like to show that if it's a plus 7x and a minus 7x, they cancel out. And then we're just going to do the math. 8x minus 7x is 1x, or you can just call it x. Bring down your minus 2. Bring down your equals, bring down your negative 9. Almost done. The only one thing that you have to do left is get x completely by itself, so we got to get rid of this guy. How do you get rid of something being subtracted? You add it. So plus 2, what you do to one side, you also do to the other. X equals negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. If you're not sure, use a calculator. There's no reason you can't be checking yourself with a calculator. Circle your final answer just to show that that's what you got. All right, number 2. Draw your line. Combine your like terms. If you have like terms that are on the same side of your equals, do that first. Anytime you have like terms, combine them first. So I have 5p plus 3p, which is 8p. Bring down minus 8. Bring down p minus 1 on this side. All right, now we have like terms that are on variables that are on opposite sides of the equal, so we're going to have to move one to the other side. Since they're both positive, the only way to move it is to subtract it. So I could subtract 8p, but p minus 8p is going to be negative, and I like to avoid negatives. So I'm going to subtract this one from both sides. Cancel it over here. Remember, minus p would be like the same thing as a hidden invisible 1. So 8p minus 1p is 7p. Bring down minus 8, bring down negative 1. Be careful, that's a negative 1 on the left, not just a 1. All right, we got to get this variable by itself, so we got to get rid of our minus 8 by doing plus 8. Bring down 7p, I'm running out of room. Negative 1 plus positive 8 is 7. In the very last step, p is almost by itself, it's being multiplied by 7, so we are going to divide by 7. And these cancel, and I'm going to write my answer over here. P equals 7 divided by 7, which is 1. Got a little cold, sorry. All right, number 3. Draw your line. Got to move one of your variables to the other side, and they're both positive, so I'm going to subtract it. I'm going to subtract the 5, so I'm not left with negatives. On the left, they cancel. On the right, 8x minus 5x is 3x. All right, bring down everything else. That's a negative 14, and that's a plus 4. You got to get everything away from the variable, so the next step is going to be to minus 4. Bring down 3x. Negative 14 minus 4. Be careful. It is not 10. If you're at negative 14 and you subtract 4 more, you're now at negative 18. Last step, these two are being multiplied. Divide. X equals negative 6. Negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. All right, you should be starting to do some of these on your own, but I'm going to keep working through them. Check your work. You need to have all of your work shown, so don't just fast forward my video and then not know how to do this and not be showing your work. All right. Move the 6x or the 4x by subtracting it. If I minus 6x, that'll be a negative 2, and I hate negatives. I hate them. It's okay to say it. So I'm going to minus 4x from both sides. They cancel over here. Bring down your negative 7. 6x minus 4x is 2x, and bring down your minus 5. You got to get x by itself, so we got to get rid of the minus 5. To do the opposite is u plus 5. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. On this side, bring down your 2x. And the last step is almost always going to be to divide. X is being multiplied by 2, so we're going to divide by 2. Cancel. X equals negative 2 divided by positive 2 is negative 1. Excuse me. Okay, number 5. We have some distribution in this one because there's parentheses. And anytime you have distribution, you have to do that first. So I'm going to come get rid of my parentheses. I'm going to kiss the parentheses goodbye. That's a poster in my room. And when you distribute, or when you kiss the parentheses goodbye, that is multiplying. So 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 3m, they're both positive, so it's positive, so put a plus, is 18m. On the left, I'm just going to bring everything straight down for now. We haven't done anything with any of it yet. And now we have some like terms on different sides of the equation, so we're going to have to move one to the other side. I could subtract 18m, but then I'm going to be into my negatives even more, so I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to see that this is a minus 6m, and to get rid of it, I'm going to add 6m. Remember, you have to do the opposite to get them to cancel out. So plus 6m over here too. Bring down your negative 18, bring down your 6, and 18 plus 6, 18m plus 6m is 24m, and that's positive, so plus 24m. 24m. Alright, we got to get everything away from our variable, so we got to get rid of the 6. It's positive, so we're going to subtract it. Negative 18 minus 6 more is negative 24. Bring down your positive 24m over here, and the last step is divide by whatever is exactly next to your variable, 24, so divide by 24. M equals negative 24 divided by positive 24, which again is negative 1. Okay, number 6. I think my cold's getting worse. Alright, line down the equals. We have distribution, so you have to do that first. Negative 8 times 6 is negative 48. Negative 8 times positive 5n is negative, so put minus because that's your negative, 40n. Alright, on the other side, let's just bring everything down. 3n minus 5. Alright, next we have to move either negative 40n or positive 3n by doing the opposite to the other side, so we can either subtract positive 3n or add negative 40n. So I'm going to add 40n over here to get rid of it. So negative 40n plus positive 40n are opposites, so they will cancel. What I did to this side, I'm going to also do to this side. And 3n plus 40n is 43n. Bring down your minus 5. Bring down your equals negative 48. We got to get everything away from our variable n, so we got to get rid of a minus 5 by adding 5. Bring down 43n. I'm running out of room again. Negative 48 plus 5 is negative 43. So it's going to be negative 1 again. Alright, divide both sides by 43 because this is the side that has your variable, so that's the number that you divide by. N equals negative 43 divided by positive 43. It's negative 1 again. I guess on your quiz, just guess negative 1 if you're not sure. No, don't do that. Okay. Number 7. We have kind of... Whoops. There we go. We have kind of a weird distribution thing here. I'm actually glad it's one of the examples. A lot of kids will want to take 8a and distribute, but that is not the thing that is being multiplied by our parentheses. The only thing that is squished right up against these parentheses, which means being multiplied by it, is this negative 4. The 8a has nothing to do with it, so don't do anything with the 8a for now. Take negative 4 and distribute it. So negative 4 times negative 5a, negative times negative is positive, so I'm going to put plus 20a. Negative 4 times that is negative 2. Again, a negative times a negative is positive, so I'm going to put plus 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, we have not used the 8a yet, so just bring it straight down. You can't forget about it. And over here, bring down 12a. All right, first we have like terms on the same side of the equals. So we're going to combine those like terms over here first, and you won't need to do whatever you do on this side over here because these are like terms on the same side. So 8a plus 20a is 28a. Bring down your plus 8. Bring down your equals 12a. All right, we got to get this and this onto the same side. Normally, I hate negatives, so I would say I'm going to minus 12a so that I have a positive, but that would leave 0 over here, and you can't have a pan that's unbalanced. I don't know if you guys remember these like scales. And if you have an unbalanced scale, if you had 0, then it would not be balanced with whatever else was over here. So we have to keep the same thing on this side as on this side at all times. All right, so instead, I'm going to have to minus the 28a so I'm not left with 0. So move your 28a. Cancels. Bring down 8. 12 minus 28, just to double check. Put your little trusty calculator under here. 12 minus 28 equals negative 16. So negative 16a. And then the last step is divide by whatever is next to your variable. So divide by negative 16. And that is actually the smaller numbers on top. We have a fraction here. And if your littler numbers on top, then basically we just need to simplify it. Negative 8/16 is the same thing as negative half. Now if you didn't know that, if you were like, oh, I was just going to divide it in my calculator, that's fine. 8 divided by negative 16, 8 divided by negative 16 is negative 0.5, which is the same thing as negative half. So you could either just simplify that fraction or go ahead and divide it out in your calculator. All right, we're getting close to done. Number 8, move one of your variables. Either move your 1r or your negative 8r. 1r would have to be subtracted. 8r, negative 8r would have to be added, and I like that. So I'm going to add 8r. All right, they cancel on the right. On the left, 1r plus 8r is 9r. Bring down your plus 11, bring down your equals 29. Get everything away from the r, so it's plus 11, so we are going to minus 11. Cancel, bring down 9r. 29 minus 11 is 18, I think. And then last step, these are being multiplied, so divide by 9. Good. All right, 2 more. We can do this. Draw your line. I'm going to go ahead and put in the little 1 there. It just helps me remember that that's negative 1x. So we're going to have to either move negative 7x or negative 1x by adding them. They're both negative, so by adding it to the other side, I'm going to add 7x so that I can make this number positive. On the left, they cancel. Bring down your 11. Bring down your 19. Negative 1 plus 7 is positive 6. So plus 6x. We got to get rid of this. Move it away from your variable. It's positive, so we're going to subtract it to get it to go away. 11 minus 19 is negative 8. I think, if I did this one right. And then bring down 6x. This one's going to end up kind of ugly. It's going to be like a fraction. 6 is being multiplied by x, so we're going to divide by 6. Divide by 6. X equals negative 8 divided by 6. So negative 8 divided by 6 is, I'm going to change it to a fraction to decimal. Fraction to decimal. Where is it? There we go. That actually represents negative 1 1/3. So I like to call it that. We're going to call it negative 1 and 1/3. Oops, negative 1 and 1/3. All right, last one, number 10. We are gonna have to add 12y or add 7y to get it to move to the other side. I'm going to add the 12y. Again, if you choose to do something different, you'll get the same answer I do, as long as you do it correctly. So just keep going. If you decided to move the 7y instead of 12y, you'll probably end up with the same answer I do. You should. Bring down 18, bring down negative 22, negative 7 plus 12. Negative 7 plus 12 is 5. So positive 5, so plus 5y. Don't forget your variables. A lot of people forget to add the variable on there. All right, we need to get rid of this, so we're going to add 22 because it's negative. You do the opposite. 18 plus 22 is 40. Bring down your 5y. Last step is divide by 5. All right, y equals 8. Good work.